We didn't get something. Glad they said.
Now, the Federation of African Journalists went along and did an inquiry into what happens in Cameroon, and I read it in some of the media yesterday, and I was absolutely horrified, because for a nationalist, we do believe in freedom of press. Sometimes the press aren't that friendly to us, but we do believe in freedom of press, and it's something that I will campaign for and have campaigned for with the NUJ over the years. And I think the fact that you cannot just do your job as a journalist in a country by exposing corruption in your government without the fear of retribution and even death, I think is absolutely horrific. So sanctuary is the key word for me today, and I think sanctuary should be the key for Charles. Thanks.
We've had magnificent support right across the political spectrum, and Margaret Curran, who's Charles's own MP, she made a very, very important intervention last week by approaching the Home Secretary directly to get a stay, to make sure that Charles's case was considered properly and would take into account the support that he has in the city here, and also the danger that he faces if he gets sent back. And Margaret says, apologies she cannot be here this afternoon, but very best wishes for your campaign. And As Sarwar, newly elected MP for Glasgow as well, he says he's very happy to help in any way he can. Keep me posted. Shirley Williams, the Lib Dem peer, has emailed to say she's written to the Home Secretary herself and to the Immigration Minister, asking them to delay deportation until the case has been considered in detail. And that's what we want. We want the case to be considered properly, sympathetically, and to take into account Charles's great roots that he's put down in this city, volunteering to help with the union, volunteering to help with other asylum seekers, and also volunteering to help with the Citizens Advice Bureau, where he did an awful lot of work out in Parkhead there. We've got from the CAB, we've got Karen Kyle, who just wants to say a few words on behalf of Charles.
Just to say that Charles has been an integral part of the voluntary team in Parkhead CAB, where we do deal with the most disadvantaged groups of society. Charles does belong to Glasgow, and I know the people of Parkhead desperately miss him, and we want to see him back soon. Thank you.
Obviously, they bring a lot of skills and talent that they have themselves, but also they're learning new skills and getting knowledge about the culture, the system, so that they can know themselves about what's involved, but also to give something back to their local community. They actually work with local people to help them find solutions to their situations and problems, and to ensure that they've got what they're entitled to, their rights, and support in place that can help them achieve these rights. And they're a very valuable part of the bureaus, because apart from that they also bring the language skills that we need so that we can help our clients, and they show commitment, and a huge commitment, and they're a very, very valued part of our team.
Just one other message of support. I mean, we've got dozens and dozens of them. Tony Lloyd, Manchester MP, Manchester, for goodness sake, MPs down in London and so on have all been expressing their support. NUJ Cambridge branch, NUJ Disabled Members Council, the NUJ Treasurer Anita Halpin, all of them saying, sorry, I cannot do more to help. We wish Charles Atangana, you, the Union and the International Federation of Journalists strength and stamina as you campaign for an emergency stay of the deportation order. And Bill Kidd, the MSP, Charles was forced to flee Cameroon due to his dedication as a journalist in the face of the most extreme intimidation. I believe he's a man of decency and civilised behaviour who deserves our support and protection. I won't be with you on Monday, but very best wishes for his success. So that's kind of typical of the sorts of messages that we've had. We've also, as I mentioned, great support from right across the trade union movement. You see some of the banners here. We've got Helen Martin from the STUC to say a few words now. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
The STUC would just like to add our voice to the others that have spoken here today in support of Charles and the NUJ. Unfortunately, the actions of the Home Office in this case are typical of how our asylum system has been run over a number of years. The STUC is deeply alarmed at the operation of the UK asylum system, which, far from offering protection and safe haven for those who have suffered abuse in other countries, tends to criminalise asylum seekers, treating them with suspicion and mistrust at each stage of the process. The whole system, from beginning to end, is set up to question the claims that asylum seekers make and actively tries to prevent them from setting up a new life here in Britain. This approach ultimately has a devastating impact upon asylum seekers and their families, who are often forced to live in poverty while facing the constant doubt of the British authorities. We would question whether this approach to asylum meets the moral and international obligations that the UK has to offer safe haven and sanctuary to those who have faced oppression around the world. But it also prevents Scotland from really getting the benefit of these people who are coming here, from harnessing the talent and the skills that asylum seekers bring with them. Far from being a drain on resources, asylum seekers and refugees have a lot to offer. They are highly skilled and highly motivated and contribute a lot to their local community and to Scotland, and I think Charles himself is a great testament to this. With the right approach, there is a lot that we can do to provide a place of safety for those who need it, to support people to build a new life here and to harness the skills and experience that people bring with them. But we need the government to stop seeing asylum seekers as a burden and to open their eyes to the value that they bring and the role they can play in the community. Enforced deportation is part of this negative and destructive approach that we take to asylum, and is something that simply has no place in a modern, well-functioning asylum system. The STUC would like to lend our support to the NUJ and to Charles with their legal challenge, and we hope the Home Office will see their error of their ways in this case and many others. Thanks very much.